ask for X-ray. You can use these rules for your X-rays in any department, pediatrics, medicine, or any other department that they ask you to review the X-rays. The only thing is, after the initial introduction, I have included the pictures of X-rays that are being commonly asked in the pediatrics department, not other departments. Okay. So when an initial X-ray is shown to you in a Viva, so what are the points under which you try to cover the X-ray and read it? First and foremost important is the view, that whether it is a AP view, PA view, it is anterior-posterior view, posterior-anterior view, lateral view, any other specific view. Okay. Then orientation you check. Orientation means right is right and left is left. Like ऐसा नहीं है कि उल्टी direction में है इधर. You are commenting on the right side of a bone only. You're not commenting on the left side of the bone. So you have to be correct about the orientation. Then the rotation. Rotation is important. That is, your X-ray has been taken in a proper direction. ऐसा नहीं है कि इसको अगर इतना डिग्रीज अलग होना था, अगर कोई चीज सपोज हमारी स्पाइन अगर सेंटर में होनी चाहिए, तो इट मस्ट बी इन सेंटर. इट शुड नॉट बी inclined towards right or left. That means the X-ray, जब हमने X-ray लिया है, the patient was not straight enough, was not in a proper position. And if the patient who is not, or the direction of the rays is not in that direction, then your X-ray picture will also not be there. Then the penetration. Penetration we also say as exposure. कि ऐसा तो नहीं कि आपकी फिल्म बहुत ज्यादा white है या बहुत ज्यादा ही black है, तो उसमें you are not able to tell the true picture of the pathology. Then degree of inspiration. Degree of inspiration is particularly important in the chest X-rays that we describe. Okay, because we need to have adequate. I will tell you in detail how do we determine the degree of inspiration. So for this we have a short form also, RIPE. That is a rotation, inspiration, picture. That means how much is the what is the pathology per se that you want to describe, and the exposure. So we'll deal with it in detail one by one. So this is a picture of showing an X-ray being taken of a man, in which we are taking a chest X-ray, but the beam, as you can see, is coming from the posteriorly. The X-rays beam will come from the posterior and it will go and penetrate the chest, and then it will go from posterior to anterior. Okay, so that is also important. So this tells us that this view is PA view, posterior anterior view, rather than anterior posterior view. Now, what is the difference between the PA and the AP views? And in children, especially in pediatrics, it is difficult for the children, you know, कि वो आप जिस पोजीशन में आप बताओ उसी पोजीशन में खड़े हों, specific degree पे खड़े हों. So what we usually prefer in children is an AP view, and PA view is usually preferred in adolescent or older children. Okay. So what happens in PA view is, that you can see in this picture, this is a PA view. In this, the scapula are outside the lung fields. Okay. But in AP view, the scapula can be seen inside the lung fields. Okay, so there is an overlap. Then clavicles are there in the PA view. They lie on the lung fields, while in the AP view, they are above the lung fields. And in PA view, since it is posterior to anterior, your posterior structures are more important. Okay, like your spine is more easily visible, your posterior ribs are more visible. But in your AP view, what happens is your heart is more visible rather than your rib, rather than your spine, and the anterior ends of the ribs are more prominent than the posterior. Okay. Now coming to the orientation. So if I'm being told to read this X-ray and it is already marked that this is the right side and this is the left side. Okay, so how will I deal with it? Do we think that, okay, no, this is the correct X-ray? I will still have doubts. Why? Because the apex of the heart is towards the right. The fundal, the stomach shadow is there on the right, while both the things usually come on the left. This can be true if the patient is having dextrocardia, if patient is having situs inversus, that is all the organs on left side are on right side and those on right side are on the left side. But we should not just say, okay, it's an underlying pathology. We have to show. The more common error will be at the, point of radiographer, that he has marked the right and left wrongly. So this you have to take care while you're reading the x-rays. Look at the normal structures, whether they are present in the normal position or not. And if they are not, then examine your patient and see, yes, whether your heart, your apex is more on the right side. Okay, is your liver palpable on the left side? So you have to take care of that. So this is the normal picture in which my fundus shadow is on the left, my apex is on the left, okay, and my aortic knuckle is on the left, and the liver is on the right. Now coming to the rotation. How do I define the rotation of the x-rays? Rotation is something that I told you will tell you about कि अपनी पोजीशन से हमारा एक्सरे कितना हिला हुआ है, कि क्या वो सेंटर पोजीशन जिस आइडियल पोजीशन पे उसको होना चाहिए था वो है. This is particularly important in chest x-rays, and especially when you take cervical spine x-rays, कि उसको जितनी flexion हमें चाहिए वो उतनी flexion पे है, extended तो नहीं है बहुत ज़्यादा flex तो नहीं है. So that will interfere with the interpretation of your x-rays. So what commonly we do for the chest x-rays is, these are the spinous processes that are marked in green. We draw a line from here. So this is the centermost point. Okay, center point of your x-ray. And then we mark the medial ends of the clavicle. These ends should be at the equidistance from this midpoint. If this x and y are equal, okay, that signifies that your x-ray is in a good position, there is no rotation. But if there is any discrepancy in this, that means that your x-ray is rotated. Now look at this. We can see one medial end here and one medial end here. So this x-ray is completely rotated. So your pathology will not be properly visualized. जो चीज राइट पे होनी चाहिए वो लेफ्ट हो जाएगी, ओवरलैपिंग हो जाएगी, ओरिएंटेशन में फर्क हो जाएगा. So you will not be able to read what true pathology is underlying. Okay, now coming to the penetration. The middle picture shows us the best penetration that should be there in the x-rays. While this is more white, that is exposure to the rays has been less, and this is overly exposed, okay, because we can see more of black thing and less of white. So this is penetration is important, okay, because normal lung markings also we are not able to visualize in this field, and in this one x-ray, excessive markings are being visualized, which will interfere in the reading of our normal findings. So we don't want that. Okay. Now coming to another important thing is degree of inspiration. That is particularly important in chest x-rays because we want a good mid-inspiratory film so that we can read it properly. Before that, just look at this picture. This is our rib cage. Okay. Anteriorly, we have the sternum manubrium. Okay. And what is these yellow things? These are cartilages. And these blue things are our rib bones. So what is that? Is this cartilage is not radiopaque. So this will not come into your x-rays. So what we are usually seeing in your x-rays is these lines. Posteriorly, if you can see. I'll just show you. Yes. So what? Just follow the marker. The blue one you can see on this has been marked. This is the posterior ribs. So the ribs, this rib is articulating with your spine and then coming forward like this. So this is the anterior end. Like you can see, these are the interior ends. 1, 2, 3, 4. While these one are your posterior ends. So by counting these, we come to know whether our film is adequately, inspiration is how much. So for this, a proper inspiration, we need at least 6 to 7 interior, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And posteriorly, we need 9 to 10. So in this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, around 9 ribs. So this is an adequate film, okay? Mid-inspiratory film. This is the normal cardiac cell how that you need to understand. So what is there is, this is your right atrium, number 1. 2 is right ventricle, and the third, the tip is formed by the left ventricle. Okay, this is your tricuspid valve. This is your superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and from the right ventricle comes the pulmonary trunk and the right and the left pulmonary artery. So this is a normal phenomena that you have to see, that your cardiac cell out is somewhat like this. Now this is the pediatric PA film and a pediatric lateral film. So what I can see in these PA films, okay, we can count. First of all, we can see the, let me see the orientation. No, you can see the midline, right? So my spinous process is this, but this is not complete, but it is not very bad also. So in children, we accept some kind of rotation, we accept. We are not very diligent that there should not be any rotation. In best cases, yes, it should not be there. But if it is there, we are not, demanding repeated x-rays for that. Then you have the processes. It's an adequate film. These are the domes of your diaphragm. Okay, osteophrenic angles that you see. And this is the lateral film in which this is the spine, spinous process, spines. This is the heart, which is dividing your mediastinum into anterior and posterior mediastinum. Okay. So what happens normally is in children, small children, a thymic shadow is seen on the right side. If you can just see the arrow is also marked. This thymic shadow is many times misread as a mnemonic patch, as a consolidation patch. So in children, we have to be very, very particular in over-diagnosing this thymic sail sign as pneumonia. Okay. Then we have to look for the costophrenic angles. This angle and this angle, they should be sharp and there should be no fluid collection in this. Now, if you look at the cardiac margins, whenever there is loss of cardiac margins, that means there is the involvement of the middle lobe of the chest. Okay, so the lower lobe involvement doesn't lead to the loss of cardiac border. The middle lobe involvement leads to, because lungs is a 3D structure. Okay, it's not a 2D structure. Your upper lobe is here, middle lobe is here, and your lower lobe is posteriorly there. So the middle lobe involvement leads to the loss of cardiac border. Now, after this was a general introduction about how do we read the X-rays. I have included some pictures which will help you in understanding and how to read. Okay. So if you look at this, first of all, I have just told you आपको सबसे पहले मुझे view देखना है कौन सा view है. So what I can see, it looks to me like more of a PA view. Okay, my clavicles, my scapula is out, clavicles are inside, so it looks like a PA view. Can you see the shadow? This trachea divided into this. This is called as bronchograph. Okay, because you can see the bronchus with the air going inside, right? Then my cardiac border is something which I cannot make out. So there is most likely, if you can say, there are diffuse opacities in the right upper zone and middle zone of the right lung, which is silhouetting the right cardiac border, and the right costophrenic angle is also blunt. It's not clear. So there might be an underlying effusion. Maybe there's a pneumonia, but there might be some underlying effusion also. Okay. While in this X-ray, the second X-ray, you can again see the bronchograph. Okay. And if you see the rotation is not there much. And regarding the exposure, adequately exposed film. Now coming to the another thing, that is the degree of inspiration. If I look at the posteriorly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, around 8 films I can see, and interiorly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 and 8. So it is slightly less. I need at least 7 interior and 9 to 10 posterior. So it is not a properly good inspiration film. And then I will say I can see a wedge shape opacity in the right upper zone, upper and middle zone of the right lung. Okay. While the costophrenic angles are clear. Most likely suggestive of right-sided pneumonia. Now, another important thing in children is the cardiomegaly. So this is a normal, how do we calculate cardiomegaly is important. I will just show you in the another X-ray in this one. So what happens is you can, I'll show you this one. what you do is you connect the spinous process. This is your middle, okay? And then you, from the spinous process, which is the farthest point of your heart, from the right side you take separately and left side you take separately. So just show you. Yeah. So if it is like this and I take it from this point, I have to mark so this is my one direction and posterior one is this direction. So I'll add both of them and divide by the maximum diameter of the maximum point of my diaphragm, which is here. So I'll take the denominator, this. So this will be my denominator and this plus this. So take it as this is A. Okay. This is B and this one is C. So A plus B divided by C will give you a ratio. And if this ratio is more than 55%, we say it as cardiomegaly in children. Okay. So this is a normal shaped heart. Okay. And while in this, you can see there is a huge cardiomegaly in this child. So it is important, especially in children who come with pneumonia, who come with CHF also, that there might be an underlying component of myocarditis. It is helpful in diagnosis and in management of the children. Then we have some typical signs which might be shown to you in your, vivas. This is the boot-shaped heart, which is seen in TOF. Then agon string appearance, which is seen in TGA. Okay, you should be knowing them. Then, yes, coming to the other chest pathologies, you can see there is a complete whiteout of the left side of the trunk. And also there is shift of the mediastinum towards the right. That means, what is there? शिफ्ट मीडियास्टिनम का ऑपोजिट साइड पे कब होगा? या तो उस साइड पे, इस साइड पे हवा है, न्यूमोथोरैक्स हो सकता है जो हमें नहीं लग रहा देखने पे, या यहाँ पे इफ्यूजन है. ओके, if there is underlying collapse, then the mediastinum will shift to the same side. It will not shift to the opposite side. तो या तो उसमें हवा है या उसमें पानी है जो मीडियास्टिनम को हार्ट को दूसरी तरफ शिफ्ट कर. ठीक है, अगर उसमें अंडरलाइन कोलैप्स है, एल्वियोलाई जो यहाँ पे कोलैप्स पर है, तो वो मीडियास्टिनम को अपनी तरफ शिफ्ट करे. ओके, दूसरी तरफ नहीं करे. Now this is another thing in which you can see the heart is completely shifted towards the left, so right, and you can see a collapsed lung and the air inside the lung, that is a pneumothorax. So this is a case of left-sided pneumothorax with shifting of the mediastinum towards the right side. So this shows that there is some tension, जिसकी वजह से इतना pressure develop हो गया. So we say it as a tension pneumothorax, which becomes an emergency. So whenever you are shown an X-ray, please don't get befuddled by all these tubings and the tubes that you can see. If you can see, this is tube, NG tube, which is going inside, and you can see the tip in the stomach. While all these are the external, maybe these are the ECG electrodes, oxygen pipeline which is going. This is not internal, but this one you can trace the pathway and it is going inside the stomach. So sometimes even when you're reading the X-ray, and if you can see some lines being put inside, you should always comment on their position. Okay. Then you have this. Can you see there is no problem in the left side? The left side costosphenic angle is clear, but the right side I cannot make out the costosphenic angle. It is blunted, and I can see this. Can you see a proper fluid mark? So that is suggestive of mainly a hydropneumothorax in which there is some air and there is some amount of fluid, which can be pus, which can be water, and it is leading to this. Okay. And this is another common sign in which you can see the flattening of the diaphragm. So both the diaphragms, if you can see, is on the same level, but usually the right side diaphragm is up. So this is called as the flattening of diaphragm, which is seen in when there is hyperinflation of the lungs. Especially in bronchiolitis and asthma cases, we can find this. Okay. Now, other important point in children is to read the X-rays of rickets. So in rickets, very well known is the finding of fraying and cupping on the distal end of the wrist. Okay. So you can see the end of the wrist in which you can see fraying, cupping of the radius and ulnar bones. That is there. Very important. Another important thing which you can see on a chest X-ray and then also diagnose the rickets is, can you see the anterior ends? They are so flared. They are so flared. So this is a very typical feature of a rickets, flared rickets in small child. So for this thing, if you can find this finding on the chest X-ray, you might not need to do a X-ray of the hand to diagnose rickets. Then you're very sure that yes, this is rickets and you need to treat the child. Then coming to some of the abdominal X-rays. Abdominal X-rays, if you look at this, what are these? These are multiple fluid levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They are multiple. So more than 3 air fluid levels in any abdominal X-ray is pathological. That is not physiological and you need to treat. So same thing, we can see the multiple dilated fluid levels and also we can see a dilated intestine in this. Okay, can you see a dilated loop of intestine which is there? So it gives us sometimes it gives us a clue about till what time, till at what level your obstruction is there, how much part of your intestine is dilated. So that gives a clue. So can you tell me this sign? This is stomach and the proximal part of duodenum which is dilated. It is seen in duodenal atresia. Okay, these are the very typical X-rays, but sometimes they can be asked in your vivas or they cannot be asked if the X-rays are not available. But important, now look at this. This is the X-ray of a neonate. If you can see, you can see the multiple dilated loops. Bowel loops are there. So that signifies there is some kind of obstruction. What this arrow signifies is, if you can see this mucosal thickening, the mucosa of the intestine is thickened, right? And also there is air, this streak of air going inside the mucosa. This is a sign of pneumatosis intestinalis, which is seen in necrotizing enterocolitis of neonates. This is a very specific sign. Just I wanted to show you, and it is your MCQ question also. It's important. So you should know this. The air going, otherwise in mucosa, there will be no air. The air will be in the lumen. But when this mucosa, this air breaches the mucosa and go inside, this is the sign. Okay. Now these are the early signs. If you see gas under the diaphragm, this is very serious, signifies perforation, and a child needs immediate operation. This is a very early sign where it can be missed. And in this, you can see the frank. The whole column of air is seen under the diaphragm. Okay. And what is this? This is an abdominal X-ray. Okay, this is your diaphragm. And this is your liver, your other organs, and the whole air is surrounding them. Pneumoperitoneum. Dangerous, life-threatening, can lead to shock, severe sepsis, and sudden death. This child needs, these patients needs immediate exploratory laparotomy and immediate treatment. So I think that is yes. That was all. So I've completed, I think, in less than a half an hour. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. These X-rays are simple. Just take yourself some time. Okay, just give yourself some time on reading. And if you read by flow, sometimes examiners are in a hurry. They will say, no, ma'am, okay, you don't give other details, tell me the pathology. Then it becomes very easy for you to say, okay, there is a, then don't come to the pathology right away. Explain it. Like there are inhomogeneous opacities, there are homogeneous opacities, there is a column of air under the diaphragm. So you have to see that. You don't have to just come under the conclusion this is pneumoperitoneum, this is pneumothorax. No, explain them how do you come to the conclusion. Yes, I can see a column of air on the left side of the chest with the pushing of the mediastinum to the opposite side, which is very important. So when you say it that way, they know that how do you have also come to the diagnosis. Okay, and if sometimes the viva is just for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, they might be in a hurry. Then maybe you can say directly. But if you make a habit of reading the X-rays in this way, in any department, even in medicine, in any further stream that you take up, it will help you in reading them and coming to a conclusion, because for knowing the abnormal things you should first know the normal things. Okay, then only you can identify. If anybody has any doubt, you can please ask me. Somebody has asked me, ma'am, I think on this X-ray, whether this can be volvulus. I will just show this one. See, the volvulus is not there. Volvulus is what? Volvulus is rotation of your mesentery completely. So your intestine are more importantly involved in those, because what does your mesentery does? Mesentery involves your small intestine, large intestine. There is rotation of your mesentery, which leads to an obstruction and a dilatation. So the stomach is usually not involved in volvulus. What is more involved in your small intestine or large intestine? Okay. And then for that, what is there is for diagnosis volvulus or other things, we have specific angles regarding, there are multiple angles on the abdominal X-ray which we can detect and tell whether there is a volvulus or whether there is a simple obstruction. I think that's all for today. Thank you, students. Thank you for your cooperation. And I'm really sorry for the delay previously. Thank you.